This is the Grow My Clinic podcast by Clinic Mastery, where we help you deliver amazing client experiences to grow your clinic.
Well, welcome to the Grow My Clinic podcast. The tables have turned today. This is your host, Daniel Gibbs, and I'm here to introduce Jack O'Brien this time. G'day, Jack. How are you?
G'day, Daniel. Good to be here. This is going to be fun. It's different being on the other side of the proverbial microphone.
Well, I think it's about time people got to know you a little bit more, and I think perhaps maybe the best episode of all, I'm sure.
Well, we'll let the data decide, hey?
Okay, Jack. Now's the time to spill. How did you become a physio? How were you corrupted? Tell me your story.
How was I corrupted? Well, I grew up playing a lot of sport. So rugby league and cricket were the staples of our diet at home. We would play footy before we ate and after we ate. It really was part of our diet. And so lots of rugby league. I had to choose when I was 16 whether I wanted to pursue representative rugby league or cricket. And in hindsight, Daniel, I probably should have chosen cricket. There's arguably less chance of getting injured, although there's stress fractures are a decent risk in cricket. But anyway, decided to choose rugby league, and so ended up climbing through the ranks of the local NRL club here, so through the Newcastle Knights, where I'm based, and ended up making it all the way through there. So that's kind of how I got interested in sports. So playing high level rugby league, had a number of injuries, and therefore spent a lot of time on the physio table. I really did. So by the time I was 17, I've had both shoulders reconstructed and stabilised, and I've had one of my knees reconstructed, an ACL injury. So consequently, spent a lot of time in the physio rooms. I always did pretty well at school and was interested in health and science. So combine all that together and ended up studying a physiotherapy degree straight out of school, which I believe doesn't happen all that much anymore. It's pretty difficult to get into. Went straight into uni and straight into physiotherapy.
It's quite a common story, isn't it? A lot of physios out there that I've spoken with, I know in the number of clinics that I've spoken with our strategy sessions with Clinic Mastery, we find that a lot of physios find themselves on the treatment table. They see how physiotherapy has helped them, and they've then made that next step of becoming one themselves. Now, I'm sure a lot of people are really interested now. Tell us about your experience with the Newcastle Knights.
Oh, look, fascinating. On the inside of sports clubs, high-level clubs, at the time, I wasn't getting paid a salary. So I played the first year that what's called the NYC, the Under-20s National Youth Competition, came into being. We're in the inaugural year. We were the class below first grade. So we were up at a reasonable level. I wasn't being paid a salary, but but the Knights covered my medical expenses, which was probably close to a full-time salary in itself. It was interesting, Daniel. I played 2 years at that level. Never quite made it to first grade for a number of reasons. Would I have made it? Interesting question. Probably not. But in hindsight, a lot of my peers and friends, mates at the time, are now playing first grade. But to be honest, I didn't enjoy it. So injuries are what ruled me out at the end of the day. If I wanted to continue playing, I'd need further surgery, and I wasn't interested in that. While I was studying physio, having 6 months off just wasn't going to work. So injury is what really pulled me up. But if I'm honest, I wasn't enjoying it, Daniel. It got to a place where I was trying to train 25 to 30 hours a week. I was trying to study full-time and make an income and provide for my wife. I was married as a uni student, and so it was a tough time, and I lost enjoyment of footy, to be honest. It was very political. It was who you know, not how well you played, and so I was far more interested in physio than footy.
So then you graduated as a physiotherapist, and what did you do when you graduated?
Good question. I think an important distinction that I don't really want to gloss over was at the end of my first year of physiotherapy, I had a bit of an epiphany, and I think it's really common amongst physios. I got to the end and I thought, why the heck am I even doing physio? I want to, as an altruistic early 20s young man, I wanted to make a difference in the world and end global poverty and hunger, and I kind of thought, how does physio do that? I help fix people's sore neck because they slept the wrong way. That doesn't change the world. And at the end of my first year of physio, I actually considered transferring into medicine, which is very common. A lot of physios, either through student years or as young physio graduates, transition into medicine. And I was very, very close to doing that. The lifestyle of being a medical intern for the next 10 years of my life, and night shifts, and having my life at the mercy of a state government just didn't attract me at all. And so that's what kept me in line in the physio degree. And I think it's interesting on reflection that I didn't choose medicine because my life would be at the mercy of the state health department. And now it's gone full circle where I actually get to live life on my own terms. I have a fantastic clinic that really does make a real difference in real people's lives, and I'm in complete control of my diary, my life, and my destiny. So that's what happened through uni. I can go back to what happened when I graduated, if you like.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm very interested in the decisions that you made that led you to actually have your own business. What actually entered your mind at the time? What made you think, wow, I would rather have a business than not?
Yep.
And led you to be where you are now?
Yeah, I think, it's interesting. You talk to a lot of business owners through the hundreds of clinic owners that we get to speak to through Clinic Mastery. We actually speak to a lot of, the irony is fascinating. We get to speak to a lot of clinic owners who are now chained to their own business and working 80, 100 hours a week with no holidays and getting paid below the average salary. So I could have easily gone down that route.
It's amazing what we'll do as entrepreneurs, isn't it? Working 100-hour weeks just so that we don't have to work a 38-hour week.
Oh, geez. I mean, clinic owners that are essentially, they've got a lousy job and they've got a terrible boss. That's no place. And the truth is, no clinic owner needs to live that life. There really is hope and options for you as a health professional in business. But look, I graduated uni, always knew that I wanted to go into private practice. Always had a desire to have my own clinic, but didn't really know what that looked like at all, really. I just knew that I wanted it at some stage in the future. And so left uni, went straight into private practice and applied for 5 jobs and got 4 offers. So I was pretty stoked with that. And what actually happened, Daniel, is I spent some time in reflection and kind of just looking within myself, sought the advice of some mentors, and ended up taking a job that at the time, out of the 4 offers, was probably the least attractive. It wasn't the best salary. It didn't have the greatest career progressions. There weren't a lot of things going for it, but the reason I took the job, and if anyone who knows where our clinic is, Terrace Physio Plus, it's I wouldn't say it's in the most desirable suburb, in the most desirable region, but the reason I took the job was values. The clinic owner at the time, there was a real values alignment. He ended up as somewhat of a father figure to me and a mentor, and there was just something right in the core of my being. I knew this was the place that I had to work, despite the external factors of salaries and career options and prestige of working at the top clinics in our area. I took the job that aligned most with values, and that was Terrace Physio Plus, and that's where I still am to this day. So that's been an interesting journey in itself.
It's such a good distinction to think about the values-driven life, where the decisions that you make need to align with the values that you have. And it's surprising how many people have not actually identified what their values are. I think a lot of people are aware of how they live their life and a compass at some level that they bounce these ideas off before they make a decision. But to actually have those values there, it's really important. Did you do that? Did you find values and write them down at the time?
Yeah, I did. They were in consultation with my wife and trusted mentors and advisors that I make sure that I surround myself with. I think I never want to do things in isolation. And so I took this job in what was essentially a converted house. And not long after, we moved into a custom facility, and the previous clinic owner just found it too much. He found I was bringing a lot of ideas and energy, and he just couldn't keep up. He's your classic private practice owner who's a really good physio and a really good technician and just wanted to work with patients, wasn't interested in the progression of our clinic, and so ended up purchasing the clinic a couple of years in. And since then, it was a rapid transformation. I really hit the sweet spot, hit the groove. I love being a clinic owner, and so we ended up hiring a staff member per month consecutively for the next 15 months. And in those early stages, we were able to 4x our business in under 3 years. We were able to, grow to being from a small 6-figure business to a 7-figure clinic across from 1 site to 4 sites in 2 years, and 4x consult number. Aside from the consult numbers and the dollars, we were able to 4 times the amount of humans that we were able to help and the difference that we were able to make. And that really lights me up. I went from being a physio who loved looking after patients one-on-one to now, currently, I get to live a life where I empower my team and create a great place to work so that more physios can do great work, and we're able to help exponentially more people across our region, and now, by extension, get to help clinic owners as well.
It's a great story, and seeing how you've grown that clinic, but it wasn't without its challenges as well, was it? I remember you talking a story about some of the challenges you faced when you bought into this clinic.
Yeah, look, there's some common challenges and some unique challenges. An interesting story, so when you purchase a business, normally it's around financial year, was due to take over the business on the 1st of July, and on the 26th of June, 4 days prior, we had a natural disaster in our town, a massive flood, and so our clinic was shut for 4 or 5 days. I went into the clinic on the 26th of June to see 1.5 inches of water covering all of my carpet, soaking into, well, that wasn't my carpet at the time, but the carpet, the walls, some of our computers were underwater that were sitting on the ground, which really speaks to cloud-based software like Clinico, which we quickly transitioned to. The pedals for our beds were underwater, and it was just clients were trapped and isolated for weeks, and so that happened prior. I inherited a couple of staff which were challenging. I'm certainly not here to incriminate or defame anyone, but there were some significant challenges. I walked into debts of close to $100,000 that I was not aware of. We also uncovered some interesting cases of money being transferred dishonestly, up to the tune of close to $100,000. Again, being careful with my words, but that's what I walked into, sort of unbeknownst, and you can never really see all of these things before you get into them. But faced with that, also that was the July. Had our first child in the March prior, so I had a 3-month-old baby. So if you've ever had a 3-month-old baby, you'd know that you probably haven't slept for 3 months. And I took over the running of a not-for-profit in the July as well. So I'm a bit of a glutton, a sucker for punishment. Sorry, it's fascinating challenges inside and out.
Oh, Jack, I hear you and I feel you. But even still, despite that, over the preceding 15 months, you still added to your team at a rate of 1 per month over that team. And you saw that growth. And I want to come back to these values as well, because I think that having that purpose and aligning your work with the purpose and the values that you have really puts you in a position where you can actually take advantage of the energy and the passion and the direction that you're going. You can make good decisions. Tell us a little bit more about what you do outside of work really quickly that helps you to stay grounded to those values and your purpose.
Yeah, look, I really believe in being active outside of work, and we're not just talking physically, but sometimes we can get clouded in by the environment that we spend all of our time in. So I sit on the board and part of the leadership team of a local church. I ran the Red Frogs support network in Newcastle for a number of years and still sit on the oversight of that. So Red Frogs is a support network for uni students and young adults that go to schoolies and that live on college at university campuses. I mean, if we're all health professionals, a lot of us have lived on campus or been around when the uni lifestyle takes over and young people end up partying and making some decisions that sometimes they regret later in life. So Red Frogs is an organisation that exists to help empower young people to make sensible decisions and be there as a support service when they're struggling with some of the challenges that young uni students face.
It's fantastic. So Jack, just to round this out, what does the future hold for you?
Oh, look, it's a blank canvas. I think, like you said, I'm open to any possibility and any opportunity as long as it fits my values, as long as it falls through that criteria of who am I at the core of my being. And so right now, I'm loving leading my team across multiple locations, helping them thrive and do great work, and helping more people across our region. I love the work that I do with Clinic Mastery. I don't ever see myself stopping this Clinic Mastery journey of helping more clinic owners, health professionals in business transform their client experiences and grow thriving clinics. We'll continue, my wife and my family will continue helping not-for-profits. We love travelling, so who knows where we're going to end up, Dan, but it'll probably be helping people through health and helping people through our charitable giving.
Well, this is great, Jack, and I know you've got a number of life hacks, and down the track, stay tuned for future episodes where we get to delve into a little bit of how Jack manages his life to be able to handle so many things at once. It's fantastic. So from Newcastle Knights to buying a clinic to overcoming so many problems and seeing amazing growth, all in alignment with your purpose and your values. Jack, it's fantastic to hear more of your story. Guys, if you have listened to this and you love it, please give Jack a mention on our socials. Let him know that his story is inspiring. Thank you, Jack, for sharing with us today.
My pleasure, Daniel. Thank you for having me.
You can find show notes for this episode on our website at clinicmastery.com/podcast. Head to the show notes there. And for those serious about taking their clinic to the next level, make sure you sign up to the free Grow My Clinic online course on our website at clinicmastery.com/growmyclinic. Well, guys, thank you for your attention today. Please leave a review, a rating on iTunes. We'd love to have your honest ratings there so we can share the love with more people as well. And we'll look forward to seeing you in our next episode.
This is the Grow My Clinic podcast by Clinic Mastery, where we help you deliver amazing client experiences to grow your clinic.